The ordinary meeting council Wednesday, 3rd September. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Almighty God be with us as we work for the people of the Shire of Moorabool. Grant us wisdom that we may care for the Shire as true stewards of your creation. May we be aware of the great responsibilities placed upon us. Help us to be just in all our dealings and may our work prosper for the good of all. Amen.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today.
Thank you, Councillor Boom. In accordance with Moorabool Shire's meeting procedural local law, the council will be recording this meeting. The following organisations have also been granted permission to make an audio recording, that being the Moorabool News and, of course, the Star Weekly. So we'll go to item 4. We've got everybody present. Mr CEO? No apologies. Could I get someone to confirm the minutes from the last meeting, please? Thank you. Councillor Sullivan, seconded Councillor Keogh. Those in favour? So carried. At this point, I'll ask if disclosures of conflicts of interest of any of the items on the agenda tonight, councillors. Nothing there. Thank you, councillors. Right, we're going to move into public question time, and we do have a question. If I could ask Mr. Jeffrey, please, to read out the question and give us the answer, please.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. We have a question from Kat Barlow. The question is, what is the timeline for action to be taken to prevent people driving on a footpath on All Abilities Trail at Bald Hill? It's destroying the area and making it unsafe to be used by the public walking. And the response is, Council is aware of vehicles illegally accessing the site and is undertaking several measures to mitigate the issue. These measures include the lock at the main gate has recently been replaced and signage installed at the gate informing people of access arrangements. 2, an audit of all points that could be used to access the reserve by four-wheel drives has recently been undertaken and placement of bollards and rocks preventing access at these locations has been undertaken. Number 3, Council is planning to reconstruct a turning area in Tramway Lane as part of the 25-26 capital program to control access at this location. Number 4, installation of no vehicle signs is currently underway around the site. And number 5, Council is exploring enforcement options as part of its local laws around illegal access at the site.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. I'll note that Kat's online, and welcome, Kat. Nice to see you again. Any questions, councillors? No? No questions? There you go, short and sweet. So, thank you. Okay, we'll move in. There's no presentations or deputations tonight, I assume, Mr. CEO. So we'll move into Chief Executive Officer reports, first being item 11.1, instrument of delegation, S5, cancelled to the Chief Executive Officer. Councillors, there's a recommendation in the papers. Thank you, Councillor Ward. Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Seconded. Those in favour? So carried. I'll move on 11.2. The instrument of delegation S6 council to members of council staff. Councillors, I'm in your hands. Thank you, Councillor Minari. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Berry. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Okay, we'll move on to item 11.3, instruments S11A of appointment of an authorisation of council officers under section 147(4) of the Planning and Environmental Act of 1987. Councillors. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan.
I'll move it. I also have a question.
With a question, sir?
My question is this, this is really just, there's no increase in the delegation powers. It's really just a transferring across of personnel in regards to the delegated authority. Is that correct?
I'll take that to Joe.
Through the chair, that's correct, Councillor Sullivan. It's actually tidy up. There's been some positional title changes, and that's captured in these documents.
Thank you.
Councillor Minari is seconder. Any question or on it's safe? Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Righto, we'll move on to 11.4, which is instrument S11B, Appointment and Authorisation Environmental Protection Act 2017 only. Councillors. Moved by Councillor Berry.
Thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Keogh. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Righto, I'm going to move on to 11.5, featuring name, proposal and recognition of Delwyn, Del Leggett, OAM. Councillor Keogh, moved.
I move the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Keogh. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Berry.
Second.
Any objections? I doubt. Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. Righto, we'll move on to an important one, 11.6, Western Renewables Link Environmental Effects Statement Submission. Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to move it, but I'd like to move it with a comment, please.
Yes.
Obviously, this is a threat that's been hanging over the heads of many Moorabool residents for some period, and I'd like to commend council officers, but in particular Catherine McClay, for the submission that's gone in. There's a couple of points I'd like to make and highlight. I certainly won't be reading the 50 pages, but I'd encourage those with the time to do so to have a look at it. There'll be 250 landholders in Moorabool Shire affected by this across the 70 kilometres of our shire that the Western Renewable Link will travel. Our key material issues are the environmental impacts of the project, the approach to the investigation and assessment of the environmental impacts and project alternatives, including full and partial undergrounding in the EES, is inadequate. The environmental impacts of a fully overhead transmission line on Moorabool Shire are not acceptable and premature based on incomplete studies. The risk proposed by the route, the design siting of the infrastructure will change when further assessments are undertaken and or other approvals or post-approval matters necessitate refinement. This creates further unacceptable levels of environmental impact and uncertainty. The inadequate focus on the impacts of the people in the communities, including social impacts, bushfire impacts, and impacts on tourism and socio-economic matters. And the proposed implementation arrangements through the PSA and later approvals are not adequate to provide appropriate protection for the environmental impacts. The submission does not represent the complete suite of issues of concern due to the volume of exhibited EES documentation and the time limitations provided for councils and those affected to review the submissions. 74% of our beautiful shire are state forest, parks and water catchments. We have 38 heritage sites impacted by this. No heritage assessments have been done. As such, the community engagement and stakeholder engagement, which is critical to ensure extensive environmental impacts are understood, has not occurred satisfactorily. The only engagement tool of the 23 listed for the project for the purpose of obtaining the impact was the social pinpoint map from 2021. Consultation has been inadequate, has not delivered on the communication and engagement objectives as committed to in their very own consultation plan. The EES speaks of engagement challenges as justification. Mental health and wellbeing of communities affected, community distrust due to broken promises, engagement fatigue and pressure and threats of land access. Alternative corridors, alignment, site locations, design and other options have not been rigorously assessed to thoroughly assess all measures to avoid, minimise, manage and offset environmental impacts. What are the environmental impacts of the feasible alternatives? We don't know because they haven't been adequately investigated. Nearly complete, Mr Mayor. I'll highlight Darley and its 3,327 dwellings and its population in excess of 9,000 people, who are arguably the most impacted community, and I'm not being disrespectful to others. The social impact assessment reported on Darley alone major negative impacts on directly affected landowners, surrounding landowners and the broader community. High risk of bushfire, biodiversity, landscape and visual impacts. The EES does very little to recognise the social and tourism impacts and gives scant reference to community benefit funds. No proposed plans to invest in or compensate Mirrabul Shire community have been outlined. The project underestimates the traffic volumes, risk and impact to infrastructure or detailed standard of the upgrade to the roads or any infrastructure. Has the project considered offsetting the impact by construction of possibly the Eastern Link Road? Impact to water, agriculture, forestry, and the lack of consultation of the proposed workforce accommodation.
With respect, Councillor, I've let it go through because
Yep.
I know how important this is, but we can't do a preamble on something that's just being moved.
Okay, last line.
Yes, please.
So based on our review of the EES and the PSA, the project should not and cannot proceed as it's ill-considered and incomplete as presented.
Thank you, Councillor. And my apologies to Councillor Minogue. I think your hand did go up first. I missed it. But I will put you down as a seconder, so my apologies. So, councillors, we're moved and seconded by Councillor Ward, Councillor Minogue. Those in favour, I assume, is carried. Thank you. Right, so we're going to move on to community strengthening reports. The first being 12.1 draft recreation and leisure strategy, 25 to 35. Councillor Berry.
I'm happy to move.
Thank you,
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Berry. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Keogh. Do we have any objections? Those in favour?
I have a question.
You have a
not
question,
objections.
Councillor? My apologies,
My
Councillor.
question is, Mr Mayor, will all the comments that councillors have made feed into this process as well? Because there are some things in here which I'm not entirely happy with, but so basically they will feed into this process?
I'll ask the question about Lee, please.
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct, yes. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. We moved and seconded. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Okay, we're going to move on to item 12.2, Community Asset Committee's reports. Councillor Minari has moved that. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Righto, we're going to move on to 12.3, Indoor Aquatic Facility Design. Councillors, we're going to move it. Councillor Berry, did you move that? I'm seconder. Councillor Ward, there's a bit of preempting for the Mayor, sorry. Those in favour? So carried, sorry. Yeah, I'm not really. Okay, item 12.4, Draft Dunstown Recreation Reserve Master Plan.
Mr Mayor, I move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Do I have a second? Councillor Minari. Do you have any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Okay, we'll move on to 12.5, Transition of Bacchus Marsh Public Hall Community Asset Committee to an Advisory Committee of Council. Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Moved, seconded by Councillor Berry. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Righto, we're moving nicely tonight. We'll move on to Customer and Corporate Services reports. First one being 13.1, Audit and Risk Advisory Committee, Independent Chair, Full Year Report 24 to 25. And whoever does move it, could you just note that the Chair is leaving? Thank you, Councillor Berry.
Yes, I'll move it. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Have a second, please. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Any objections? Those in favour? I'll just note the service of the current Chair. Councillor Berry, would you like to elaborate on that?
Elaborate on the report?
No, the councillor, that the Chair is leaving after.
Yes,
If you would, please. Just that she's leaving.
the chair's leaving the room, sorry?
No, she's finishing.
Oh, sorry, yes.
It's your committee.
I've got a few. It's reassuring to know that council's risk finances and processes have been looked after so thoroughly by Linda for the last 6 years as chair. I really appreciate the time, effort and clear thinking that goes into keeping us on track, because without the Audit and Risk Committee, the council would be far more vulnerable to governance failures, financial mismanagement and reputational damage. So thanks, Linda McRae. For me personally, it will be a sad day when Linda finishes. She's been in the chair for 6 years and she's done a fantastic job.
Thank you,
Thank you to
councillor.
Linda Kate.
Thank you, councillor. I knew we get, what do they say, you work with children, animals and then councillors. So, thank you. Anyway, that was very good. All right, we'll move on to 13.2, which is Audit and Risk Advisory Committee of Council reports, please, councillors. Councillor Bingham, did you move that? Or is there a mosquito? Right, thank you. A seconder, please. Thank you, councillor Sullivan. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Righto. We'll move on to Community Assets and Infrastructure Reports, 14.1, Capital Improvement Program Quarterly Final Report for June 2025. Moved by councillor Ward with a question, I assume.
Just a comment. I just want to again recognise the outstanding work. Those highlights listed there are something that everyone involved in securing the funding and carrying out the work can be very proud of, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Ward. Moved. Seconded, please. Thank you, councillor Kerr. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. We're going to move on to other reports. So my favourite section of the night, being notices of motion. Are we? All right? Yeah. Oh, sorry, my apologies, yes. 14.2, response to, I knew I wouldn't get away with that, to item of urgent business, managing mobs of kangaroos. Councillor Berry.
Very good.
Thank you.
Councillor Sullivan had
Yeah,
his
sorry.
light on first.
Thank you. I would second it
Give
with...
it to you.
No, that's fine. Well, Councillor Berry actually brought this to council, I think, you know. But could I suggest that we have a point 3?
Yes.
And that is we write to the minister responsible for this matter and also to the secretary of the department. So just sort of point 3.
Agree with that, councillor Berry?
Yes, that's fine, Mr Mayor.
Any objections?
Object.
You object?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to councillor Berry.
First of all, I did receive quite a few calls on this motion and it was affecting one of the large lettuce growers in our town. They never have kangaroos down on their property until now. Never seen one, never had any damage, but they had been eating a lot of the lettuces. Secondly, I received calls for kangaroos hopping down in front of the Darley Hub along the footpath, but crossing the roads. And where they were settling of an evening is at the end where Albert Street, where the retardation basin is. Probably about 30 kangaroos, it was reported. I did go out and have a look one night, and that was certainly true. I actually used to live in the property that was right next door. We probably saw one kangaroo in the 20 years that did hop over our fence and go straight down Albert Street. I think it's become a major problem in Bacchus Marsh in particular. I'm not sure about the rest of the Shire, but I am hearing, and since been hearing, yes, don't go up there, be careful, there's mobs of kangaroos. It's out Kamida Way, it was out Ballyang, I'm getting reports from people. So I think something does need to be done. It's become a very dangerous situation and I could just see an accident pending. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
I just want to note that this item is a response
To the
to the urgent business.
Yes.
So we don't get into a debate about what we're actually doing. So, councillor Taylor.
Yeah, personally, I had a conversation on Sunday with a few groups involved with this and basically speaking to Trevor, who was the leader of the animal rescue. Basically, his comments were down the lines of he doesn't see that much of an issue and it becomes seasonal when they're coming in and chasing water. I think we probably just need to do a little bit more investigation with this from an internal point of view because, you know, a couple of kangaroos eating a couple of lettuce leaves is a lot different from a response of culling kangaroos and eventually probably wiping them out from the whole of Moorabool. Obviously, from the way that the report reads, we've in regards to harvesting, I'd really like to do a lot more research in that aspect, because you'd hate to be seeing small mobs, and especially from the meeting that I had, you're talking about mobs in Bendigo and other areas of Victoria that are up to 1,000. I'm yet to see anything that is anywhere near even 100 in our area. So I'd just personally like to see a bit more research done in this, rather than writing off and saying we've got an issue, when a lot of people who are experts in this field say that we don't have a problem.
Thank you. Councillor Sullivan, please.
I think, as you've highlighted, this is in response to a notice of motion, and this is a report back. And I think, so fundamentally, it is becoming an issue, and we are seeing kangaroos coming into areas where we have not seen them before, and I encounter them, even going from Balan to Gordon, I sort of see them on the road, so one has to be careful. And I think we do need to, and I think this is really just, supporting saying to the community, this is what's happening in this space. I don't think the recommendation talks about culling anything. It just sort of talks about, what's happening and sort of and updating the community on the website as to what options are available. And the third point that I put in was to actually advocate to government in respect that this is an issue that is confronting, and if it's impacting the viability of one of our growers in the town, well, it is an issue. And it's not just a few lettuce. I mean, what they eat and what they trample is another matter altogether. Well, I've seen the damage that they can do. And I think in fairness, we have to and I think this is a balanced response, and I think it's one that I would support. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Anyone else wish to speak for or against? Councillor Minari, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think we're in a region that has had kangaroos forever, and many people like myself have dealt with kangaroos the whole time we've lived here. And people like myself would have noticed the change in the last 12 months due to the drought. That heightens safety issues, huge safety issues, and I think that needs to be at the top of the list. I support this motion. I'd rather be aware of things and be proactive and be in the conversations with the right people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Minari. Yes, Councillor Freeman.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I was just wondering, is there any cost to council regarding culling, or
This is simply a response to
just
the
a response?
urgent.
Because it does mention harvesting the kangaroos, and determining a quota system sort of governs the number of kangaroos that can be harvested annually. So it sounds like they are going to be harvested.
Yeah, we're only debating the response, not the process.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else wish to? Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Following Councillor Vendetti-Taylor's opinion, I tend to agree with him. I've got a lot of kangaroos on my property, but whether I can say that there's more this year than was last year, I honestly don't know. Well, I can't see why we can't have more of a scientific look at it before we make a decision.
Right. Thank you, Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against? No? Councillor Berry, do you want to close the debate, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In this response, I think we're talking about, and the motion was about, a very dense population area in Bacchus Marsh. And as I did point out before, on a property that gives food supply to a lot of our area and all of Australia, to be blunt, and I said the kangaroos had not ever been sighted on this lettuce farm before. We're not talking about a couple of kangaroos. We're not talking about a couple of lettuces being eaten. We are talking about a business that has been in the area for years and are losing a lot of their product, and we're very concerned. They had been trying to contact the authorities with no reply, so I was contacted. We are also talking about a mob of kangaroos that are settling and hopping along our road. There was a near miss of a car accident, and if we don't do something about this, the kangaroos are staying around. I do believe part of it is the Bald Hill operations that have occurred. A lot of them did live up the top there. We now have the summit, but we can't have them hopping around on our streets and eating our food supply in the dense population of Bacchus Marsh. I'm not talking about the small towns. Thank you very much.
Thank you, councillors. I just want to remind everyone that we're voting on the response. All right, just not the action, the response. Okay, those in favour, please. The motion's carried. Thank you. Okay, councillors, we move into the entertainment of the evening. Item 16.1, notice of motion number 339, local government engagement in statewide treaty bill. I believe this is yours, Councillor Ward, if you'd give us a preamble.
Yes, I will, Mr Mayor, thank you. I'll keep this one a bit shorter. I put this in some trepidation. It's not an attempt to prevent the proposed new statewide treaty bill, but it is submitted to express the disappointment the local government has not been actively involved in drafting or been given the opportunity to consider impact and how it may affect our ability to meet our obligations. No one understands the challenges or opportunities facing Victorians in the community better than local councils. The Victorian Local Government Act rightly expects council to engage with the community in decision making, and it asks us to engage with other levels of government, and we expect the same in return. So I call upon the state government to treat local government as a partner in policy development and implementation, especially where it will affect our communities and our ability to deliver our services and meet our legal and statutory obligations, Mr Mayor.
So your motion is?
As presented.
As presented, moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by?
Mr Mayor, I'll second with an amendment if the mover agrees.
Yes.
So I'll read out my amendment. It's two additional points. So the first one, the council notes the outcome of the recent voice referendum and calls on the Victorian government to respect this democratic decision by ensuring that any treaty legislation is developed in partnership with and with the consent of local communities rather than just imposed upon them. And secondly, that council requests the Victorian government to ensure that local government through MAV and other peak bodies is a formal partner in the co-design of the treaty bill, and that adequate funding is allocated to support councils in meeting any new obligations. Further to that, the CEO report back to council on the government's response.
Just in terms of your first point though, I mean, we're making an amendment and you've put some prerequisites in there and you've actually got comments in there. That's not the idea of a motion or a condition of a motion.
With all due respect, Mr Mayor, the council is noting the outcome of the recent voice referendum, so I include that.
I'm just making it known that when we make an amendment or we include a condition, we don't have a political argument towards it or an argument of any description. Otherwise, that enters into debate. So basically, we're just asking that something be added to the conditions of the original motion. I mean, it's up to the councillors, of course, how they vote, but I'm just making that known. That's not what we normally do. But do you accept that as a mover, Councillor Ward?
I accept the principle, and wording can be amended to...
I'd like it tidied up if we could.
Yes, on that basis, yes, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. But the principle's the same. So, Councillor Bean, we're accepting it in principle, but I think it needs to be reworded. So.
I accept, Mr Mayor.
All right. So, councillors, we have a motion that's in play that has two additional conditions attached to it.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, through you, could we get clarification exactly as to what that wording might be so that
Yes,
when we
I
vote,
agree.
we are just certain of what we're voting on?
Yes.
I'll move we suspend standing orders if you need that.
That would be
Ralph,
fantastic
To
if we
do
could,
that,
yes.
so that,
Seconded there, those in favour to suspend standing orders,
so that Councillor Bingham has an opportunity to
to fix it up.
wordsmith that.
Yes, if we could, please. Do you want to work with governance to reword it? Or work with, it's councillor Ward's anyway, so, yes. Do you want to tidy it up, councillor?
I'm comfortable with the principle, but let's get the wording right.
Yes, all right. Well, that could end really badly. So-
I would move that we resume standing orders, please.
Councillor Walker, could you please read out the motion?
Okay, so I've accepted councillor Bingham's additional point, and I'll add one additional point, which I will ask Mr Joe to... I don't have it in front of me anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Through the chair, the additional point is that council requests the Victorian Government to ensure that local government, through MAB and other peak bodies, as a formal partner in the co-design of the treaty bill, and that adequate funding is allocated to support councils in meeting any new obligations. Further, that the CEO report back to council on the government's response.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm happy with that.
All right, so we're moved by councillor Ward, seconded by councillor Bingham. Are there any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Right, we're going to move on to 16.2. I believe this is yours, councillor Minari. Yes, please.
Thank you. that council requests the CEO to prepare a report into funding and the possibility of the Moorabool Shire Council becoming an official sponsor for the Bland Autumn Festival and the Blackwood Woodshop and Easter Carnival over the upcoming 4-year council term.
Thank you, councillor Menario. Do we have a seconder for that, please? Thank you, councillor Ward. Do we have any objections?
I have a question.
A question, please, councillor
So
Solomon.
the report that will be forthcoming if this is successful, will that sort of actually detail the history of council's past involvement and why council, as well as, you know, it'll cover all that?
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Through the chair, I think to give it the proper consideration, we would have to go back, and I think that would be the best way to do it.
So we're moved by councillor Minari, seconded by councillor Ward, was it? Yes. No, councillor Kerr, you have a question?
Question, Mr Mayor. The two events that are mentioned, wouldn't it be appropriate if they need some funding to apply for community grants?
This is asking for a report, councillor Kerr.
I'm aware of that, but I thought we could
You want that included in the
include it,
report?
yeah.
Councillor Solomon, please.
Mr Mayor, I think community grants have a certain purpose and it's not for recurrent expenditure like this. Yes. And I think that would breach our policy on that matter.
Policy, our current policy, yes. Right. Sorry, councillor Kerr, did you have something else on this?
I'm happy with what Councillor Sullivan has said.
Right, so I'll go back to, so it is councillor Minari, councillor Berry as the second, is it?
No, no,
It was
councillor Ward
councillor
was.
Ward.
I
You
just
have a
had
question? Please, thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
How's my night going?
No, very good. My question is, in the reports, can we go back about, can we look at their financials over the last 5 years?
Included in the, I would assume that the report
Will
would be
that,
comprehensive.
yeah.
Mr CEO, would you like to answer that, please?
Through the chair, I can't say for definite whether we'll have that information. We'll go into the history of our involvement in it. And if that information is available, we will include it, but I can't say for definite that that would be in it, whereas I can't say for definite that the history would be included because we would be aware of that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so back to where we started. So we're moved by councillor Minari, seconded by councillor Ward. Do we have any objections? Those in favour? I knew we'd get there eventually, so carried. So, right. We've got no notices of rescission, and so we'll move on to 18.1. Could I have someone please move the Mayor's report? Sorry, I missed another one.
Funds not over, mate.
Oh, no, not again. It's become, yeah, I know, I can't believe, we've gone all these years, we hardly ever did a notice of motion. Now it's the main show. But anyhow, let's move into it. No, this must be yours, councillor Taylor.
It is
Based on
indeed.
the objection.
Indeed,
So,
mate.
All right, 16.3. Point 3, it's all yours.
That council investigates the feasibility, cost implications and operational requirements of expanding the curbside and green waste collection services to Moorabool Shire areas in Gordon, Mount Edgerton, Mooneyong, Greendale, Dales Creek and Blackwood. Engages in consultation with residents in those unserviced areas and determines interest, gauges demand and understands communities' needs and concerns, and prepares a report outlining numbers in those areas not currently receiving green bins, estimate numbers in households who would benefit, potential rollout times, environmental benefits, and if it's going to be fortnightly or monthly to start. And then number 4, considers options for including this service expansion for future budget planning or waste management strategy reviews. And 5, possibility of centralised location for bins to be placed from houses on the outskirts of those towns to bring their bins in for collection.
Thank you, councillor Taylor. Councillor Beebe, you have a question or are you seconding it? Thank you very much. Councillor Minari, you have a question?
Yeah, I just have a question, because something's ringing a bell for me, and also because I've had residents reach out and are speaking to officers on this topic. So can I ask a question to officers? Are they working? I have a feeling they're working on this already, and if so, because I can remember being briefed on this a while ago. Are they coming back to brief us anytime soon on this?
I'll ask, Mr Jeffrey, is it? Oh, you happy, Mr CEO? Look at that. Hey, tell
Through
me,
the chair, I'm happy to take that one. So with the 4-bin solution that's been rolled out by the state government, there's actually a full review of waste services underway at this moment in time. This notice of motion will form part of that review. So there was a report brought to council in April 2016, which was a green waste curbside, and then a further report in August 2018, and that was for Balan and Backers Marsh. Once we have to roll out, depending on what happens with the 4-bin solution, so we will be commencing briefing councils on that over the next couple of weeks. So council are fully aware of what's required with the 4-bin solution and are we going to provide 4 bins to all households? Because the rules are a little bit uncertain and that's why it's taken us so long, because the rules are not locked in as yet on this. So this motion and we also have 2 other notices of motion in relation to waste that are currently on the books will all be absorbed into that one review. So we will deal with it all through one review, which we have to as part of the 4 bins. So it's work we're doing anyway, basically.
so just so I understand, there's 3 notices of motion?
There's 2 and then this one. So we do have 2 others. One is on hard waste and then one is on subsidised waste.
Did Ballyann get a mention in any of the others?
They were more broad. They were broader. This is a motion, but we're actually doing one for a Shire-wide review.
Okay, so
That was-
back to the motion at hand. We moved and seconded. Do we have any objections? Councillor Sullivan, so Councillor Taylor, if you could commence the debate, please.
Moorabool Shire has committed to sustainable waste management practices and reducing the amount of organic waste sent to landfill. However, some areas within the Shire still lack access to curbside green waste services. Extending the green waste collection service to these areas would promote environmentally responsible waste disposal, help reduce illegal dumping and burning of green waste, improve equity of access to council services in the Shire, and align with council broader environmental and climate goals. And obviously, within a year, would help with bushfire preparation.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Sullivan, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I understand the intent of this, but it's actually trying to pick winners. And really, if we're going to do a waste management review, it should be done on a more strategic approach right across the Shire rather than trying to pick this town, and that one. And I think it really, it may feed into a wider strategy if this gets up, but I think we just need to be, how do we justify if another town comes and says, what about us? How do we stand? So I think we just need to have an understanding. If the review is actually underway and this matter, as the CEO has touched upon, then this is redundant. And I think in that light, this is, as I say, we should be looking at a higher strategic level how we engage in this going forward rather than trying to sort of pick winners and what have you. And I just don't think that's the way we should be. Making decisions in the absence of policy is never a good outcome, Mr Mayor, so I would not support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. So we'll go to you, Councillor Bingham, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The reason why I'm seconding this and very much similar to the green waste bins in Bacchus Marsh, it's a user pay system. It's not a cost that's going to be incurred on all residential properties. So it's only for those people that are using that service. So I'm all for a report to go out and assess if there's any uptake in these communities, and if they want it and they want to pay for it, then who am I to stand in their way?
Okay, any other councillors? Councillor Minari, please.
Although would love to see all these towns having that service. Councillor Sullivan's right. There is a lot of little towns missing on this notice of motion, and if we're already doing that background work already, it really irks me when we double up on our officers' work. That's really grating me at the moment. So, you know, I can't support this because if we're already working on it, why are we doing it? Thank you.
Councillor Keogh, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Travelling around the Shire 12 months ago on an election campaign, by far, the biggest issue was the swimming pool. Travelling around the Shire now, by far and above, the biggest issue is waste collection. And I certainly go along with Councillor Vendetti and also Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Councillor Keogh. Councillor Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I strongly do support this motion to investigate the feasibility and the requirements for its expanding the curbside green waste collection. It's not just a matter of waste management, it's also a matter of fairness, sustainability and community safety. Many residents across the Mirrabul already benefit from green waste collection, but those in smaller towns, whether just the ones that are mentioned or everyone within the Shire, but those in remote areas remain without access. These residents pay their rates. Yes, they are also going to have to pay to have them removed for the bins, but like everyone else, we should be equally supported in responsibly managing their green waste. Extending this service would bridge that service gap, ensuring our Shire's waste strategy serves all residents, not just those in urban centres. And I do support it fully because in fairness to everyone.
Thanks, Councillor Freeman.
Thank you.
Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, I also support it. I take on board Councillor Sullivan's point about possibly doubling up and Councillor Minari's point about doubling up or asking officers to do extra work. I think all this notice of motion is doing is it's ensuring it's in the scope of work that is being done. So the CEO made it very clear that the previous two notice of motions and this one would be all done as part of that review and presented back to us in a report. And then when we have the report, we can consider all the information available, because it would be a waste of time to get a report and feel that one item had not been considered. And my fellow East Mirrabul councillors will also note that since the decision, whilst it's not totally applicable to this, since the decision to remove the vouchers and the loss of the Green Waste Month, the criticism online towards council has been horrendous. And I'm very, very happy and quite relieved that this review is being done, and I think this would be a good part of this review. So I commend the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Anyone else speaking for it? Councillor Berry, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. No, I'm actually talking against it. I feel like it is doubling up when we've got reports going on at the moment. Green waste, I feel possibly in the urban areas is a situation that is needed. I'm not sure of the take-up within the urban areas either. A lot of people do recycle their green waste. I know I do in my own property, so I chop up everything and it goes back into the ground. I think that, just doubling up is wasting that time as well. And a lot of these towns on this list, I am sure, are recycling their own green trees, garden situations on their larger properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Berry. Anyone else for or against? We've probably gone through everyone, have we? So, Councillor Taylor, would you like to close the debate?
Basically, within this, you could probably sit here all night arguing the point that a green bin would be more value to these towns than what it will be to myself. I think that all I'm doing here is just highlighting the fact that these things I really want to be looked at. To do it Shire-wide would be fantastic. It would be my preference to do that, but the practicality of doing it probably, as we'll find out in time, might not be able to do. So all I'm really doing here is, as has been mentioned before now, is highlighting areas where there is a shortfall. Obviously, I've done a lot of travel around, whether it was on my election campaign, speaking to a lot of people, and they are missing out on services. And, you know, I'm not one to deny them of their services. And like, if we can put this in place and we can get the numbers to justify having this, I'm all for it. And like I say, as with council doing the report, they are doing a report, but this is specific, and as are the other two notices of motion.
Thank you, councillor Taylor. You've got a question, councillor Sullivan?
Question, if I may. So will this investigation also cover the cost, look at the cost of it, whether it's opt-in or opt-out?
Mr CEO?
Through the chair, that'll be one of the key components of it. It will be the cost, because as you can imagine, the cost will be different in different areas. And
Okay,
so it's
so it will
opt-in,
be
opt-out.
covered as part of it? Okay.
Yes, debate's closed. So those in favour of the motion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The motion's carried. Okay. Now we'll get to the Mayor's report. So, thank you, councillor Bingham. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Sullivan. Any objections? Those in favour? So carried. Okay, let's move on to council reports. If I could please start with you, councillor Sullivan, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just for council's information, Monday of this week, I attended the Wallace Recreation Reserve CAC meeting and with Council Officer Mr Travis Kerwood. It was a very fruitful and positive meeting. The group is very active and have some great initiatives, and are also looking at revisiting, well, their master plan, the one that they prepared, hasn't been adopted by council, with a view to get that adopted by council, and also to perhaps prioritise some of the key issues that they sort of see they need to consider going into the future. So thank you.
Thank you, councillor Sullivan. Councillor Kerr, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. During the last month, I attended the Pentland Hills Landcare Group annual general meeting. Alan Morton, who was a founding member of 30 years, I'd resigned as president of the Pentland Hills Landcare Group after a lifetime history of community service, and handed the reins over to Peter Shilton. And I'm sure he's going to do just a very good job. Alan's descendants were pioneers to the district in what is now known as Pentland Hills, postcode 3341 within the Shire of Mirrabel. I would like to place on public record my appreciation for the service he has given to our community, not only with Landcare, but other community groups such as Rotary. I also attended the Mirrabel Environment and Sustainability Advisory Committee workshop. Further to that, I also attended the book launch of The Heart and Soul of Marketing by local author Matt Romania. And finally, for the last month, I attended the meeting of the end of the monthly meeting of the Blacksmiths Cottage and Forge Community Asset Committee. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Kerr. Councillor Taylor, please.
I'll try to be as quick as I can. Obviously, I was at the community consultation for the draft road safety strategy. I did a speech at the Bacchus Marsh Lions Club, went along to the 70th anniversary of the Rotary Club in Bacchus Marsh at the Mooneyong pub with yourself and with Councillor Freeman as well. The Matt Romania book launch at Lello Photography, the 13th anniversary, and at Dejua District Scouts Victoria AGM and presentation was at that as well. Thanks,
Thank you,
Mr Mayor.
councillor Taylor. Councillor Minari, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll just mention one thing for the month. This last week with Councillor Berry, we attended the Australian Local Government Women's Association yearly conference. One highlight out of that couple of days was the welcoming of the new Minister for Local Government attended, Nick Stakos, and it was refreshing to have him answer questions and really get down to some nitty-gritty conversations and engagement, which we have really missed over the last couple of years. It was It was happy. It was very refreshing. So that's, and obviously there was a lot more to discuss and issues to discuss, but it was just really nice to see him engage and take back our questions, and he promised us to feedback. So it was really nice. Thank you.
I think it helps that Nick was an ex-councillor for a long time, and he's a very amicable sort of fellow.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Councillor Bingham, what have we got?
A lot of things. No, nothing to report, Mr Mayor.
And I'll caution you. So, no one. Councillor Berry, please.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I actually had a very long report because I looked at my August calendar and I thought, my goodness, there was one day that I didn't have one council event and I was so disappointed. Anyway, that's all good. I've crossed out some because they have doubled up with other members. This week is Legacy Week. Thank you to all those incredible volunteers helping families of our veterans. So on Sunday, the 10th of August, I joined and commend Bacchus Marsh Platypus Alliance for giving up their Sunday to pick up dumped rubbish in the same area that they picked up dumped rubbish over Clean Up Australia Day. They do a fantastic job. On Tuesday, the 12th of August, I also attended, like Councillor Keogh, the AGM for Pentland Hills Landcare Group. And yes, Alan Morton has, after many years, stepped down as president. He's done a fantastic job. I'll just say he's known as the serrated tussock king. So he put together a lot of pamphlets and things. He's done an amazing job in that area. And I'm sure he'll continue to be the serrated tussock king in that group. On the 12th of August, I thank the library staff for the walkthrough of the Balan Library. What an amazing facility that has been built in the Balan Main Street. On Sunday, the 17th of August, I attended the Coffee with a Councillor at Navigators. Thanks to Councillor Ward for organising. There was a few members attended and we had someone travel up from Bacchus Marsh. They wanted a day out and they came to the Coffee with a Councillor, which was amazing. On Sunday, the 17th of August, I attended the 70th birthday celebrations of the Rotary Club of Bacchus Marsh, also with the other councillors in the room. One of the oldest clubs in Victoria. Well done, Rotary Bacchus Marsh and all its volunteers. Large on effort and commitment to the community of Bacchus Marsh. On Friday, the 22nd of August, I attended the book launch of local Matt Romania. His book, Heart and Soul of Marketing, A Guide to Empower Charities and Community Groups, was hosted by Brolga Publishing. I think there was over 100 people in the library in Bacchus Marsh. It was amazing. I have flipped around the book before. There's one circulating around staff in council. But if any councillor would like to read this book, it's available. I'll just need to do a borrowing slip on you so it comes back. On the morning of Sunday, the 24th of August, I attended the Lalal Photography Group exhibition, a fantastic photo display by Lalal Photography Group and the Lalal Primary School students. Thank you to Christina and Alan Kitchingman for giving me a personal tour of all the amazing photos. And I must say, Lalal Street and that area just looks amazing now. From the first time I went there in my first term to now, all the streetscape that's been done, all the Vietnam vet area around the hall. It's really a pretty little town. On Sunday, the 24th of August in the afternoon, I then attended the Djerriwarrh and District Scouts AGM and Awards afternoon in Melton with Councillor Vendity Taylor at the Melton Community Hall. Thank you to Patrick McCormick for leading such a strong group of volunteers serving Melton, Caroline Springs, Balan, Bacchus Marsh and Aintree. The afternoon was full with hearing about young members doing great things in the world of Scouts. And I know we talk about volunteers all the time and where they're lacking in a lot of cases, but they're actually full. All the Scouts groups are full. They do amazing things. They travel over to third world countries and they help out over there. But there was talkers from 5 years old and he had his speech and so he couldn't be seen. He held it up like this. It was just beautiful and read it so beautifully, up to elders who are doing amazing work in the world of Scouts. And Lastly, I did attend the ALGWA for the first time conference with Councillor Ali Minari, and I've got to say, I've never been to such a great conference where, I've got to say, it was lovey-dovey in the room. Everybody was cuddling, they were so supportive, everybody was respectful. It was a really great conference. And yes, Minister Nick Stakos was in the room, and it was refreshing to see somebody who would take questions. But he also announced a 20,000 funding to ALGWA towards 20 new women councillors being able to pair up for mentoring. And I must say, the young Claire Williams, who is the president of ALGWA Victoria group, jumped up. So she was almost cheering at the football. It was just amazing to see. She was so excited with the $20,000. There were some amazing speakers. There was a couple stood out for me. One in particular was Fabian Dattner. I don't know if you may remember here in Council, Stephen Dattner, who was the premium coat manufacturer in the 60s and 70s, was her father, and she's built a leadership network talking event. And I think one thing that stood out for me, and then you can't pour from an empty cup, will resonate with me for some time. And something that particularly resonated with me was, you are enough, not because you fix everything, but because you stand with integrity, courage and heart. And lastly, she said many times, good leadership does not ignore problems. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I was only very short last month, so it's a bit longer this month. On the 11th of August, I attended the Moorabool Health and Wellbeing Committee. I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to Rona Pedretti, Manager of the Community Connections and Wellbeing, and her dedicated team for their ongoing commitment to the development of the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. During the meeting, I collected 3 valuable information leaflets. These are supported by Moorabool Shire, got the name on the bottom. Each one is housing and homelessness support. The other one is Your Mind Matters, mental health support, and financial advice and support. On the 12th of August, I also walked through the new Balan Library prior to the official opening this Saturday morning, which everyone is most welcome to attend, and I highly recommend that all residents either attend the opening or come and have a walk through. There is something for everyone and also an area for everyone. On the 17th of August, I also attended the Rotary Luncheon celebrating 70 years of Rotary in Bacchus Marsh. I extend my sincere congratulations to all members for their remarkable dedication and the countless hours of voluntary service they contribute every day to our community. On the 18th of August, it was Vietnam Veterans Day, and Councillor Berry and I spoke on Apple FM in recognition of this day. During the broadcast, I shared some personal reflections and memories of those difficult and emotional times. It was a solemn opportunity to honour the sacrifices made and acknowledge the lasting impact the Vietnam War has had on veterans, their families, and our community here in Moorabool Shire. On the 19th of August, I attended the presentation of the draft road safety strategy at the Lurdy-Durg Library. While attendance was lower than expected, it was also disappointing given the quality of the session. The Bacchus Marsh Police delivered an excellent presentation outlining their action plan through to 2030, which focuses on reducing road trauma through safer roads, safer vehicles, safer speeds and safer people. One of the most sobering points raised was that the majority of fatalities on Moorabool roads involve local residents, a deeply traumatic and concerning reality for our community. 22nd of August, I also attended the book launch of Heart and Soul at the Lurdy-Durg Library. On the 22nd of August, I had the honour of attending the Mount Egerton funding announcement by the Honourable Michaela Settle, with the funds dedicated to supporting the Mount Egerton War Memorial. Remarkably, 170 former students of Mount Egerton Primary School enlisted and served in World War I, and I think that's remarkable from such a small community. Among them, the Roberts family stands out, with 8 members named on the memorial. One of them was Nurse Annie Roberts, who served in the Australian Army Nursing Service from 1915 until the end of the war. Tragically, just 1 month after Annie enlisted, her brother Clarence, who was also born at Mount Egerton, died in Malta from wounds sustained at Gallipoli, making the ultimate sacrifice to his country. On Monday, the 1st of September, further to the motion I brought to Council last month regarding the proposed reduction of services at Bacchus Marsh Hospital, I attended a meeting with representatives from Western Health, the Mayor, and Lee McCallum, General Manager of Community Strengthening. This meeting was constructive and informative. Western Health expressed a willingness to respond in writing to my concerns. I was going to leave this bit out, but I'm afraid I have to put a little bit in. There appears that there is a reduction in the morning staff between the hours of 0800 hours and 1300 hours. This means 3 beds are closed from 0800 and reopen at 1300. But I will, the Western Health have agreed to answer questions, which I will put together because I have received further information in my letterbox the other day, which I need to put forward to them too. And once these questions have been given and we have a response, I will report back to Council with responses and keep the residents who use Bacchus Marsh Hospital up to date. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Ward, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. My report will be brief. I just want to recognise some Mirrabooka residents and teams that have excelled. First of all, congratulations to former Darley junior Zach Butters, who's won his 3rd successive Best and Fairest at the Port Adelaide Power Football Club in the AFL, and former Darley junior Jack Watkins, who has won the Port Adelaide Best and Fairest in the Sandful. Congratulations to the Darley Football Club women's side, who have won a history-making 3rd BFLW premiership in a row, and their captain Lily Condon, who's won her 2nd league Best and Fairest in a row. Congratulations to the Bacchus Marsh Football Netball Club, who won their first under-19 girls premiership. Best wishes to all other Mirrabooka Shire competing sides that are competing in upcoming grand finals in the Central Highlands Football Netball League and the Ballarat Football Netball League in coming weeks. My last comment is just to note the passing recently of a very highly regarded member of our community and a dear friend of mine. Gerard Harrington was a life member and premiership player of the Craigielac Football Club and then the Colac Craigielac Football Netball Club. He was a Hampton League representative. He was a West Footscray premiership player. Him and his family moved to Bacchus Marsh in the early 90s and he set up his business, Whitson and Harrington, and then Gerard Harrington Associates. He joined the Darley Football Netball Club in 2000. And after 12 years service, including many as treasurer and president, he was made a life member of the club in 2012. And then one of his unkind friends, me, conned him into joining the Ballarat Football League board, where he served for another 12 years and was a made life member of the Ballarat Football League in December 2024. Sadly, 3 weeks prior to his retirement, on the 30th of June this year, he was diagnosed with cancer and he passed away recently on the 18th of August. He was a genuine, kind, caring and very community-minded man, and it'd be a great loss to the community. And my sincere sympathies to his wife, Mandy, his children, Lauren, Katie, Matt, their partners and grandchildren. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Could someone move the council reports, please? Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Thank you, Councillor Minari. Those in favour? So carried. We move into urgent business. If I could, please, Councillor Sullivan.
Not so much, just a question. Mr Mayor, a question was posed to me by a community member at a meeting I attended last evening. Signage of the town's entrances, we were going to roll something out, were we? Or weren't we, or have we? Or I suppose I just want a bit of an update with respect to the signage that we're going to sort of place at
Jeffrey,
town's entrances.
Through you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, now that the gateway strategy's been completed and we've got the templates for those signage in the capital program this year, there is some funding to roll out the signage, and I guess we're just in the throes of organising all that. I don't have a time frame right now, but that'll be reported on during the year.
Will the rollout be sort of done, across regions or what, towns, or what's the, at this stage, have you got any read on that, or is it still in the pipeline?
Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor. What we'd like to do initially is an audit of all the towns all the signs entering each town. And then we're conscious that we've got the big picture frame signs as well, which will be probably a more costly exercise. So once we've got that complete audit, that'll inform the plan of attack. But I would envisage that we'd like to roll out at least the town and locality signs this year. But we'll have to confirm that once we do the audit.
Thank you. Just sort of supplementation, if I may. So would it be in order if I were to put this community group in contact with Mr Jeffrey's office so that they can sort of liaise with them? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. No further urgent business. Councillor Kerr.
I have no urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Councillor Taylor.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Minari, please.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Negative on the urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Negative on the urgent business. Councillor Berry.
No urgent business, thanks, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Freeman.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Just while I've got you, I'd just like to thank David and Leanne for their campaign that they've done on that toxic waste. There's been an enormous amount of support that's reached far and wide from the great work that you've done to protect other shires and people, and hopefully we'll get a good result. It deserves it for the work that's been put into it. So, yes, having said that, we've done the urgent business. That doesn't have to be moved or circulated. So our next one will be a closed session, so we'll have to...
Mayor, could we actually take a 5-minute adjournment?
Yes, we'll have to,
before we do that.
If I take a 5-minute break and recess so we can empty the room. Moved by Councillor Sullivan, seconded by Councillor Bingham. Those in favour? So carried. Now we have to throw everybody out. So. Who are we missing? Who are we missing? No, just the one? Whoops. Right. Let him go. It's all over. Council Ward's falling asleep. Righto, do we need to close the door? We're in confidential. Sorry? We're still live? No.
We've just
Righto. Could I get someone to move to resume the meeting? Thank you, councillor Kerr. Thanks, councillor Berry. Those in favour, so carried. Someone to move us into confidential. Thank you, councillor Sullivan. Thank you, councillor Ward. Those in favour, so carried. There you go.